There we go. Happy Monday evening. Happy Monday happy hour. Um, it's NutBallCop, and I think the tide has just changed. Okay, I'm gonna do this a little quick tonight. Keep it a little shorter than usual. I got some things to do, but I couldn't not talk about this tonight. And I want to make sure that everybody understands the what's happening behind the curtain, what the real calculus is of today's news. Um, Greg Bovino, fascist midget at large, has been relieved of duty, has been demoted, has been sent back to his old station, and he's been told to fill out his retirement paperwork. Okay, the angry little Nazi in his little SS officer's jacket is toast. He's done. He wasn't shown the door. He was fired. He was shit canned. Okay, the hockey ref went boom, misconduct, and you got thrown out of the game. That's what just happened to Bovino. Okay, why did that happen? Republican governors started to question what the fuck is going on. When Governor Abbott of Texas and the governor of Oklahoma start going, huh? Are we really doing this? Are we really going to fashion our enforcement of our laws in this draconian fashion? That's not working. That's not working for us. You know, when Abbott starts talking about changing tactics, the balloon went up inside the party. Something dramatically has happened inside the GOP. I don't know what was the actual voice of reason inside the party. I'm not really sure on that right now, but I know um, that there's a core issue that they overstepped, and what the real. I mean, everybody that's not a MAGA fucking idiot. I mean, if you're liberal or progressive, if you're just a total middle of the roader, independent, centrist, groovy libertarian, hardcore libertarian, small C conservative, and even some of the large C conservatives. Nobody likes this shit except the MAGA far right. They're the only ones that are down with this. Now, unfortunately, they're still 1 out of 5 Americans and about 40% of the Republican Party. That's a fucking problem. But nobody is buying this, and this is the weird thing. And I've been thinking about that. I had meetings. I had to get my Padawans straightened out. We have a little uh, upgrade work to do this week. So one of my Padawans going on vacation next week. So we got to get stuff done this week. So we had a meeting about that today. But as soon as I got out of the meeting and I had a couple of moments myself, I stepped outside on the porch and was just thinking about stuff. And I'm like, I think I know what happened. The Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution just saved America, but not the way the gun fetishist ever thought it would go down. Because we all know the fake story now. We're going to need our guns to take on the tyrannical government. Rah! Obviously, that wasn't the reason. You just proved that out. Kind of shamefully so, I may add. But the way the Second Amendment just tore down a big chunk of Dear Lear porn star Humper's authoritarianism is not just the fact that this is the wrongest guy to shoot. Yes, Keith's been shot. Renee's been shot. Mr. Salas was killed. Guy was choked to death in a nice prison. There's a whole bunch of people being hurt and even killed by these Goombas. But what really drove? Because I think like I said, everybody else except this small little contingent of maniacs don't like what the hell you're doing. We didn't like the fact you murdered a mom in the middle of the street. We don't like the fact you're targeting people by skin color. Okay. Nobody except a small group likes this. So what'd you do? You killed a white guy who works in the Veterans Administration helping wounded warriors. Then you stripped him of his firearm, executed him on video, 5 different angles I watched. It is nothing less than a street execution. Then, to make matters worse, and this is at the heart of the problem with MAGA, okay? They have this idiocy of running in headfirst into a door jam and going, "That was great," and backing off and whacking their head into it a second time. It's their pattern. It's practically a mantra with them, okay? You killed a white man legally carrying a gun. In the video, it comes down to a straight up East German Stasi street execution. Shit that you would see in Uganda under Idi Amin. Shit you're seeing in Iran this very night. If you don't know what's going on in Iran, oh, you better. If you're a praying person, I'd start praying for the innocent souls in Iran because the government is just killing people en masse. This is far worse than Tiananmen Square in Iran right now. Okay. Ryan Macbeth thinks there's a good chance some fighter jets may launch that direction tonight because the violence is so out of control with the government. I don't think we need another war, but it's a horror show in Iran. So, but when you execute somebody on video, and video is our savior here. The mobile phone, the information. Remember they put all those cameras up all over the cities and said, "Oh, we're going to watch you, and we're going to watch you commit all the crime." And then they caught that street team in Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, beating a guy to death on their own security system. Just for sport of it, the cops just pulled a guy over and beat him to death. And it was recorded on a city-owned system. Okay? They thought they could out-pixel the public, which is just mathematically being an idiot. There's no way you can capture more pixels or capture more seconds of video than the public, since everybody's got an HD super camera sitting in their pocket. Okay, some of the Google phones and some of the Samsung phones have even better cameras than these high-end late model iPhones. Okay, so you what they did was they executed somebody for lawfully carrying a weapon. It was recorded on video. Then they decided we're going to deny the video, deny common sense, deny logic, and deny our very eyes. Then they called a VA intensive care unit nurse who literally takes care of the people who were wounded in combat. Called him a domestic terrorist. Because how dare he bring a legal gun onto the street when the mean federal government is there and they're in control of everything? After 40 years of mantra of what? We need our guns to make sure the federal government doesn't become a goon squad. Okay. Now right-wingers and even capital C conservatives, they're speaking out now. Mike Pence, I want an investigation, state and federal. Full investigation of all deaths at the hands of ICE and the DHS and the Border Patrol. So threatening to hang Mike Pence didn't play well for you in the end, did it? Because he just came out and said, yeah, you need to open an independent investigations on all of this. The governor of Oklahoma went on CNN and said, the constituents don't like this. This is wrong. Okay. This is going to politically damage the Republicans, and this isn't what we should be doing. Okay. And again, what does MAGA do? They slam their head into a door jam immediately, and then they go, wow, that's great. They do it again. So immediately when the Oklahoma governor says something reasonable, like, hey, the electorate, the voters, the people who actually show up to the polling places don't like this. MAGA idiots in Oklahoma started in choir, in a chorus, started to call for his impeachment literally within 5 minutes. I'm sorry, he said something completely reasonable within normal boundaries, and you want to impeach the governor of the reddest state in the union? One of the most conservative governors in the country right now, in the reddest state. You want to impeach him for saying something normal and reasonable. Okay, that response didn't play well. Abbott, you got to find other topics. Texas's Abbott said something. There you go. Okay. Um, who did I find earlier? Oh yeah. T2, that's his nickname, Terminator 2. Tony Thomas, the former commander of the Joint Special Forces Operations Group. Um, he keeps tweeting the kill shot. Still from the videos. He keeps tweeting it repeatedly to Bovino, Holland, Nome, Bondi. The former leader, the commanding general of our special forces, is clapping back at the administration. And this is after many others have done. Mark Hertling, 3-star retired, former European commander and 7th Army commander. Ben Hodges, 4-star. McCaffrey, 4-star. Okay. But what happened here wasn't just the fact they shot somebody, because the conservatives that go way too Trump adjacent didn't seem to have that big of a problem when they killed Keith or they killed Renee or they're killing people in detentions or they're crushing the skull or crushing the testicles of other people during arrest. They don't seem to be too bothered by that. But they can't get around the fact that their white majority constituent Republican base does not like the fact that you just executed a white guy carrying a legal pistol. And then when military leaders start saying this was an execution, the former lead in Florida, he's changed party. He went to Democrat. He's going to run against DeSantis as a Democrat for governor. One of the former leaders in the Republican state house, one of the big GOPers, just watched him a few minutes ago, and he was like, what do you want me to tell you? They murdered a lawful gun owner. Mary says, oh yes, this completely makes sense. Yeah, yeah. They love the draconian thing until they hit the wrong target. They can't excuse with their own base. That's what just happened. The major general in charge of the Padres, the commanding general of the chaplain corps in my old branch of the Army, just came out and told his Catholic soldiers that they have a right to refuse illegal orders. Try going after the chief padre of the Army. Good luck with that. And he's not one of these radical right-wing padres. He's I've read about this guy before. He's the one that is like the Padres when I was in the 80s. Like the father who married the Catholic priest who married my wife and I. He knew my wife had a Protestant background and I was an atheist. He still married us. We went to church counseling with him. Marriage, pre-marriage counseling with him. Yeah. Why? Because he shepherds all the troops. He was a really nice guy, by the way. Super, super nice. Still think about him. Still think about what he did for me and helping me start my family. Remember I was talking about good mentors the other day? Father Donahue. There's another one. People met real men with real purpose, with real leadership, with real mentor capabilities. This what makes men function correctly. Not assholes like Bovino. Stephen Miller, Benny Johnson, Tim Pool. Go fuck yourselves. You guys are douchebags on overtime. Okay. But what happened here was simply one of my favorite war movies of all time, because I think it's a really well-made movie and it's got a lot of my favorite people in there. A Bridge Too Far with everybody. Sean Connery, Robert Redford, Michael Caine. All great plans come crashing down when you bite off more than you can chew. Now, of all the amendments they're violating, and let's review real quickly again what they're violating: the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, and the 10th. Minnesota does not have state rights. Texas does. Oklahoma does. Minnesota does not. Okay. But the one they could fuck up with their own base, we all know what that amendment is. It's the Second Amendment. Especially when they spent so much time, effort, money, and resources fetishizing gun ownership in this country. They tell you it's an absolute right, unless the Nazi midget is there with his stormtroopers and they just decide to just throw you to the ground, strip you of your weapon, and murder you in the streets. And a lot of different groups are coming out, and it is, except for the MAGA idiots in the House, the agencies, and the White House, pretty much every other voice outside is like, you minimum. This is the minimum of the good feedback. You have a problem here. You are executing Americans in the street, and now you just executed a VA nurse with a legal firearm. Now, I know the 2A fetishists, I wrote essays about the fetishists before. They thought they were gonna do the assassins, with, Prince Ferdinand. They thought they were gonna change the world and protect the world and create a better America with just one shot. Ah! You would do it for Randolph Scott. Randolph Scott. So they thought, "Yeah, I have a magical Narnia machine here. It's like opening the closet door and going into a different universe, except it's a carbine or it's a pistol or it's something else, okay? It's some type of firearm." They literally thought that they, could change the world simply due because they were the tough guy with the gun. What actually just changed America? Telling people the Constitution doesn't exist anymore because certain people are projecting power. Exactly what the Constitution is supposed to protect Americans from. Like, I have a lot of people, all different stripes in my life, my orbit, hardcore capital L liberals, gun owners. Libertarians like me, I'm a groovy libertarian, but libertarians like me, gun owners. Conservatives, gun owners. Okay. My favorite farmer, one of our friends who 4-H, oh yeah, she's a big gun owner. Big conservative too. Okay. Everybody I'm talking to all have the same opinion, regardless of political stripe. You told us that if you use our First Amendment rights, will take away our Second Amendment rights. Everybody balked at that. I don't think you would literally have to go to the seventh ring of MAGA hell to get somebody to actually try to justify this. Because again, they double down and then they triple down. Bovino to flex wouldn't follow DHS and FBI policy about being put on administrative leave for at least a week or two while the investigation plays out, and you go talk to the doctor and you make sure you're in a good headspace before we put you back on the street. um yeah, I took time off after one of my critical incidents. I had to. Okay. Whether you wanted it or not, our department would not let you back on the street for 7 days. They don't care if it was a bank robbery, and we had one like this. We had a bank robbery where the guy started shooting at us first, and it was a 211 bank. Okay, yeah, we dropped the guy. Actually, Al did with it, totally Hollywood, totally Bruce Willis Hollywood style. He comes skidding up in a patrol car sideways. He points the shotgun with one hand out the passenger window, pulls the trigger of the shotgun, hits the guy 7 out of 8 pellets in the chest, drops him dead. That's after about 20 rounds have already been exchanged. Yeah, he started shooting first, so fuck him. But yeah, we had to put there's like 6 of us involved. They had to put everybody off duty for a week, even though there was absolutely nothing wrong with what we did. Every citizen that saw the thing were like, the cops needed to drop that guy. You know, 2 security guards saw it at the base across the street. The deli owner saw it. The TV repair guy and a customer saw it, and they were all like, "Oh man, this is 1,000% clean." We still made them take a week off, even if it's just to catch your breath. You take the week off. Okay. If you need some more time, spend another week, doing follow up in the back room with the detectives and just doing the phone calls and stuff like that. Bovino didn't want to do that. He wanted to put those people right back on the street because he had a flex. Because that's all he's got is a flex. He's got a stupid haircut and a micro penis and a bad attitude. He's got nothing else. Okay. And I want to reiterate that the true hostilities, the true draconian measures that are being taken, that's not dear leader. He's a dementia patient drooling into his lap most hours of the day. Okay. Not to mention he has stroke face. Like was it yesterday? Sitting in the meeting, like, okay, dude, you're out of it. Okay. This is Stephen Miller and somewhat Vought and somewhat Bannon. Okay. But the de facto president of the United States is not Donald J. Trump. It's Stephen Miller. And he was the one pushing, going, escalate, 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 escalate. Whatever they say, you fire back with a retort, a sane retort, and you go nuclear, and then 10 times more nuclear with the next comment. That didn't play. Why? You shot a white male VA nurse in the streets after you stripped him of his legal gun, which you told us for 40 years was unquestionably legal. Then you followed up and said, well, if you use your First Amendment rights, we're going to take away your Second Amendment rights. And by the way, Bovino, Noam, Holland, Stephen Miller, Trump, they're not the Bondi. They're not the first ones to do this. I was watching Armed Attorneys on YouTube. And they said they had to fight against the Texas State House because during the BLM demonstrations, they wanted to pass a law making it a felony to simply be in an area of a protest with a firearm, even though firearms are almost universally legal in Texas. Plus, they took that guy from Texas all the way to the Supreme Court, the one I told you about the other day, who shot at people at the Walmart because they were calling the cops because he was feloniously beating his live-in girlfriend. So he decided to shoot at the RP, calling 911 and several witnesses. They took him all the way to the Supreme Court, saying the cops taking away his guns after a violent multi-victim firearm set of felonies, was violating his civil rights. And Comey Barrett was like, not even close. This is the wrong person. This is the wrong case. You're on the wrong vector. This is basically, she said in a very professional way, this is bullshit. Okay. So they programmed everybody that there is literally not one step away from what we tell you the Second Amendment is. Then they went 180 degrees for daddy and told you if you're in the presence of federal agents, you have no civil rights, including your gun rights. If the and people woke up to what this really meant, and they woke up to that really fast. Well, if they can shoot you dead in the street after taking your gun, and they also told you that the Fourth Amendment has been suspended or eliminated by certain units in the federal government, and they can enter your home. If you have a gun in the home, can they murder you in your home too? That's exactly what they were telling you. Yes, they were going to murder you in your home if you tried to resist them, even though they don't have a search warrant. They didn't announce themselves, and they broke in your door like a couple of fucking mass burglars. Go back to Texas. There was a case a couple of years ago. A fucking idiots tried to serve a daytime warrant at 4 in the morning, not by knocking on the door and announcing. They decided to crawl through the guy's bedroom window. So the guy, who happened to be black, by the way, that's why he was arrested. A white guy would have never been arrested for this. He picked up his pistol out of his nightstand and put 4 bullets in the face of the burglar he saw crawling through his window. Then they tried to charge him with capital murder of a peace officer when the guy wasn't acting as a peace officer. He was acting as a burglar. Whole country, including everybody until, the insane MAGA people, the people that are going to have to be deprogrammed. They will never come out of this by themselves. Fortunately, there are deprogramming groups that are out there now. So that's kind of a win. Um, Everybody else in the spectrum were like, what you're telling us is you're suspending the Constitution. So 91% of the people you arrest will have no criminal convictions whatsoever. And if we look at you cross-eyed, you're going to start murdering more US civilians on the streets and in our homes. De facto eliminating multiple constitutional rights, including the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment. That's what just happened, folks. And trust me, conservatives, like some of the people I've been watching and talking to, even conservatives know, oh, it's not just the Second Amendment. These guys are throwing out fucking multiple amendments like they're throwing away dirty socks. I mean, this is ridiculous. But what the touchstone was, what was the line they should have never crossed, was trying to call that nurse Alex and then that mother Renee domestic terrorists. When you apply domestic terrorists to the mom simply because you're a lesbian, that played with MAGA, sure. That played with a lot of the conservatives who are in their hate churches have learned to hate other human beings for stupid reasons. Okay. Calling a legal gun owner who works at the VA helping and saving troops a domestic terrorist because he was legally carrying a gun and legally protesting. Instant blowback. It was the bridge too far. That is what just happened. They walked straight into a bad situation. They doubled down, tripled down to make it worse. Because they have a playbook. It's the Stephen Miller, I'm an asshole playbook. Because they all talk the same. Go listen to Benny Johnson. Go listen to Stephen Miller. Go listen to Pam Bondi. Go listen to that whack job spokesperson at the White House. Tim Pool, they all talk the same, in the same cadence, in the same rhetoric, in the same bombastic inflection, the same word choices. They're all in the same chat group on Signal or WhatsApp, and they get the word of the day, and that's the word they're going to use 25 times today, or the buzz phrase they're going to use 25 times today. They've come up with a template of response, and they thought all they had to do was keep turning up the volume. Well, after they shot Renee Good, a white blonde chick in a car with bad excuses from the start, they tried to turn it up to 11 with the ICU nurse from the VA. And they tried to do it specifically with the Second Amendment. And I mean specifically, I watched this very carefully. You had multiple House members, leads in DHS, Border Patrol, DOJ, and the White House all claim that you cannot bring a gun if a protest is going on. They are going to tell you what the state laws are after the lobbyists that own Congress in whole from the NRA told you to pass these laws. The NRA that helped put Trump into office twice, even though he's anti-gun. Trump is anti-gun. This is his third round of anti-gun rhetoric. It started in his first term. This is his third time he said he does not believe in gun ownership. But then when they tell you, if you try to use another of one of your rights, the very first thing we're going to do is not just take your guns away. We're going to murder you because you have a gun. Crash right into the bridge abutment. You're a DUI. You're in a Ford pickup truck. You're doing 106 miles an hour. You're taking a swig of fucking whiskey, and you don't even see you drifted off the road. Bang! Right into the bridge abutment. That's what politically just happened to MAGA, Stephen Miller, Trump, all the idiots. Because I don't think you can convince your base it's okay to execute people on the streets for doing nothing illegal. Because what illegal conduct did Alex do? None. Zero. He did even less than Renee. Renee was making an illegal U-turn. Not a summary street execution offense, by the way. At most, a traffic ticket. Okay? But what was Alex doing illegal? What crimes, what statutes was he violating? Zero. No statutes violated. We're going to execute you in the street, and then when we do it, we're going to call you a domestic terrorist with no evidence whatsoever. And this is a pattern. Remember, he wanted to call Antifa a domestic terrorist organization? There is no such thing as a domestic terrorist organization declaration. That's not a thing. It's not. It's not a purview the president has whatsoever. Now, the AG can declare them a criminal organization they're looking into, sure, but declaring them a domestic terrorist organization, that doesn't exist. That's not a thing. You made that shit up. You made it up out of whole cloth. Bobino got sent home to fill out his paperwork for retirement. Good. Unfortunately, we're going to have to pay his retirement. Fuck. He's a dick. He should be in prison. This is probably some of the reforms we need. If you're a federal official and you end up going to prison after you retire, before we can prosecute you, we get you prosecuted later. You lose your federal retirement and your pension. It's the same thing with cops. We commit a felony, we lose our pension. It needs to be the same for federal, not just federal cops. Every federal employee, you commit a felony, we take your pension. But it's interesting what just happened. It really is. It's really interesting what happened, that they literally thought they could take Project 2025 and literally start telling you we're not going to stop the pressure. It's blitzing the quarterback every morning, and we're not going to stop at anything, including the one right you programmed into your own supporters' heads. Okay? Then in the early 2000s, you started threatening liberals because they protested against the banks and protested cops murdering black people. Okay? So what happened? The left started buying even more guns. Then you had the Pulse nightclub. Gay people started buying guns. Okay. So now the Second Amendment, more than ever, is kind of a universal. Maybe not everybody's a gun owner. Well, less than half of Americans own guns. Okay. But now people understand that, wait a minute, You're telling me if I do X following Y, you can remove the next amendment in the chain and just keep going ad nauseum until what? We surrender? We allow you to crush another kid's skull? We let you choke to death another prisoner in a detention center? Because that's a homicide. Have you guys read about that? Yeah, the coroner says the victim was choked to death. He did not commit suicide. He was manually choked to death. The beatings, the torture, the murder, the entry into people's homes without a search warrant, the removing people from locality and not giving them an opportunity to hear their case with a judge where they were arrested. They're moving people out of the district, the federal district, and trying to detain and prosecute them nowhere near where they were arrested. When the fuck did this start? Oh, that's right, under Bovino and Bondi and Holland and the Nazi gang squad. Yeah. But it's interesting that before today, if you would ask any of the ridiculously hardcore Second Amendment gun fetishists how the gun amendment was going to protect them, they would have never said this. They would have never realized what the Second Amendment really represents. The Constitution in and of itself is an institution. Okay? And I've said it before. If you lose one of the amendments, you lose them all. Then they came out and flat out called people terrorists if they think they can use their First Amendment and then expect to have their Second Amendment. Everybody went, what the fuck is going on? Like a friend of mine sent me some funny Reddit pages. Oh, even the rednecks are pissed about this one. Because they're waking up to the fact is, yeah, that's Minneapolis, Minnesota today. Is it Tulsa, Oklahoma tomorrow? Is it Jacksonville, Florida? Is it Jackson, Mississippi? Is it Birmingham, Alabama? Who knows? But people did wake up to that, and they woke up to that fast and hard. Now, how this plays out in the next couple of days will be the real, gauge of the situation, because I don't think sending a bribery suspect in, Tom Holland, that's the guy who took the Canva bag full of $50,000, and the FBI refuses to prosecute him for bribery. Okay, this is Spiro fucking Agnew all over again. He's going to go to Minneapolis and he's going to straighten things out. Well, he fucking better. Something's got to give here, or we're going to have violence that's going to be pretty awful. The last thing on earth I want to see is a worse situation than the Rodney King riots. And I worked those nights. That was hard. We do not need that repeat of history. That makes absolutely no sense. The richest nation on earth does not need to have a 40-city riot because the federal government decided to remove the amendments en masse because they think they're on a mission from God. Now, if you want to believe in the magical sky daddy, knock yourself fucking out. I don't care. Okay? You don't see me going into a church disrupting service, do you? I've never done that, and I never will do that. Okay? But it's this false moralism and this false belief system of the politicized American Christian that put us into this very spot. Saying you all will believe anything. But now people are way up to the fact is, wow, they can just wake up tomorrow morning and the Bill of Rights is gone. Because, oh my God, crime exists. Therefore, the Constitution cannot exist. People are waking up to that. And I don't care if you deported all 11 million of their claimed illegal aliens out of the country tomorrow morning. It would barely cause a tick in the crime rate. Okay. Because crime isn't something you can militarily defeat. Drugs are not something you can militarily defeat. These are problems that have to be managed. And when you have an entire regime with no management skills, only fraud skills, bullshitting skills, then they have zero chance of doing anything they're saying they claim to be doing. And everything that's happening, it's complete opposite land. Oh, I'm going to hire Doge and we're going to have the cheapest budget ever. No, we spent $2.4 trillion last year. It was a disaster. After we gave the richest people in the country another, what is that? What is that? Their 11th tax break since Reagan? So I think this may be the moment where they realize Trumpianism is a bucket of shit. All they want to do is project. They don't want to solve any problem. Because if you wanted to solve drugs, you're doing it wrong. You actually want to lower crime? You're doing it wrong. Do you want a more proper, healthier, however you want to describe it, legal system? You have to create a legal system, not dismantle it. Again, the Cato Institute, their chief immigration lawyer, has written this all down for you. There is no longer a legal immigration system, and they did that so they could bitch about illegal immigration. You want to make illegal immigration better? Fix the legal immigration system, you fucking idiots, and stop talking about your ethno state. Sick and tired of a guy with 30 plus felony convictions for business fraud. He's adjudicated rapist, and he's the main character of the Epstein file novel, telling us that other people are responsible for crime. You're the criminal. You're a tax cheat. You're a bankruptcy expert. That's all you are. And you're leading a street gang of Goombas who, when they fuck up, tell us, oh, we fucked up. So the answer is, we're going to take away your civil rights. Starting with the one we told you that was the most important, which was bullshit. They're all important. Drop any one of them, you're in trouble. So one thing, like I said the other day, we all have to be constitutionalists. We need the Bill of Rights. Okay. And this incident just proved it. Not to the sane people like you and me, because I doubt any hardcore MAGAs listening to me, because they consider libertarians traitors, because I'm for individual rights. That's why I love all the amendments. They back individuals' rights. Okay. So this is an opening from what I've been talking about a lot lately. This is an opening for independents to step up. Okay. Be independent, vote independent, run for local office as an independent, know your candidates, know an issue. Think about individual rights. Think about the Constitution. Think about actually fixing a frickin' problem instead of passing the buck down the road to another congressional session. Because I think people are going to be changing minds now more than ever. I think we were already on that path of changing some minds for the midterms and the upcoming 2028 presidentials. This is driven into overdrive. This is an opportunity. If you're a hockey fan, we the people just went on the power play. Okay. They're back on their heels right now. Don't let off the gas. That little Twink Bovino, screw him. You can't call me kidnapper. You can't call me a Gestapo. Fuck you, you little baby. You don't want to be called the Gestapo? Don't be the Gestapo, you shithead. Now, I personally think you're more, like a East German Stasi twat, but it doesn't matter. Authoritarianism, authoritarian. It doesn't matter how you, because like I said, authoritarian is up here, libertarian is here, then liberal conservative, liberal conservative. Okay. I'm way down here libertarian. Why? Because I hate authoritarianism. I loathe it. It's the stupidest form of government. It is the most harmful form of government. We shouldn't be anywhere near there. But remember, these guys, they're 10 out of 10 authoritarians. Like they're way, way up in the upper right-hand quadrant for um, nationalists. They're beyond conservatives. They're probably off the chart. They're not 10 out of 10 conservatives. They're 12 out of 10 nationalists. And they're 10 out of 10 authoritarians. And they just thought they just had to hit the gas, beat the horn another 10 times, and everybody would just kowtow, bend over, whatever, and surrender to them. Hey, Bovino, fuck you. So get out there, put the pressure, call your representatives, tell them we don't like this is going on. Idiots on social media, and you're going to get clapback. I got Nazi bombed the other day. I got a Nazi imagery, got called a gay communist. I don't know how an old like Republican, now a groovy libertarian, is a gay communist, but obviously you've never actually read my page. They find one tweet, they get pissed off of it, and I don't know if this was a person or a bot or whatever, but I got flooded. It took me a little while to clean up and block a few accounts. Don't worry about the clock back. Most of it is bots anyways, but even if they're people, fuck them. Okay, let's make them pariahs of our society. We don't need them anymore. Either you can wake up and stop being a dumb fuck, or we're moving on without you. Okay. So yeah, in a weird way, a way I'm sure nobody running a gun channel on YouTube ever thought of. But I think in a weird way, yeah, the Second Amendment just saved America without a shot being fired by anybody claiming they had to shoot. There was no lawful constitutional mechanism here. They murdered a guy. But the deeper issue, that Constitution as an institution, that's what just bit them in the ass. So now we need to put even on more pressure on them, not back down an inch. Be independent, vote independent, run for office as an independent. I'll talk to you again soon. Thank you for being here tonight. I really appreciate it. Until next time, please think about it.